Hi, good afternoon. Uh, this stream was not predicted. Let's call it like that. Like that. I was going to make a video, but then again, there are other things that I want to talk about, and I already made a small video about the G7 meeting. Uh, but right now, I believe that I should make a short stream and just talk about it. Okay, I won't be on long, less than an hour certainly, because I have other stuff to do. But Um, I think it was important to put a perspective on how we, this side of the Atlantic, saw the G7. Okay, and this might also help some American people that are just watching their own news, and most of it's very, I mean, very biased. Okay, it's like those guys in Fox inserting the sound of claps during the parade of the president. Okay, they are doing things that I think they are not proper. They are look, even if the media in the U.S. is a bit fantastic, they are always trying to get the show and not the news per se. But this is going overboard. This is this is like watching GB News in the UK. Okay, it's the same shit. This is what they are giving the people in the US, and I'm afraid people are not seeing how visible their protests have been. Okay, if you are an American and you are watching me, know this: everyone in Europe knew you were protesting. Some people protested here too as a support to you. Okay, so you have to understand this. You have to understand that we are seeing what is happening there, the good and the bad, because it's rather easy to see. Okay, we are also seeing ICE agents acting like Gestapo agents, dragging people and doing all sorts of shit that that shit is not welcome in a modern society. Okay, as I said before, I'm all for controlling immigration, but we have to be people. We don't have to be animals, and those are animals. Sorry, if you're offended, I don't care. If you're acting like an animal, I will call you an animal. That is no way of treating another human being, even if you don't like him. No, as I was saying, look, I saw the G7. Okay, the news that came out from it. Sorry, my cat opens my door. The news that came out of it was a bit more of the same. Okay, what happened in the shadows, but on plain view, the negotiations, the economic stuff. That is what we really need to know. Okay, and that is what is really important for us. Okay, for all of us. And what I saw, it was oh look, I saw as main characters. She's trying to she's trying to eat my PC. But uh, I saw Macron taking the lead effectively. Look, I don't care if you don't like the man. Look, I'm not going to say that I like the man that much, but one thing I have to recognize of him, he's very competent. Okay, and he knows what the hell he's doing. And he took the lead. Okay, the leader in that summit, it was Macron. Macron and some others, but he took the lead not with arrogance, but with actions and with activity. Going from this point to this point, talking with this person and the other person, okay, doing something, okay, taking advantage of being in the same room with the leaders of other countries, okay, in important countries. We also have to understand this, okay. Rather, if we like it, we like it. If we don't like it, we don't like it. But this is the truth, okay? It's where the money is. It's where the power is, okay? And and then you see the behavior of Trump. And the first thing I'm going to say is this. I'm not going to offend him, okay? I'm not going to offend the man because he look, I don't even know what to say about him at this point. But number one, he seemed rather out of his of his element. You understand what I'm trying to say? He seemed very oblivious to what was happening near him. Now we signed that agreement with the UK. Okay, he dropped some papers to the ground. Starmer, I have apologized because I understood what he was doing, and this was not groveling to the man. Picked up his papers like when you see some or elder person drop something to the ground, and you have that instant of helping the older person, to pick up the things, and you pick up the things for him. No, this is what I saw, and this was what the entire world saw. Uh, China and Russia looked at this G7 summit, and they saw the same thing that even the dumbest person in us all, okay, most of them sometimes, okay, and what I saw and what they saw was a weak man, a man that was out of his completely out of his capability. I don't know if he actually negotiated anything. I know he spoke with Macron. Oh yes, yes, Genie, but cats do like PCs. She's very little, a little kitty cat. Okay, she's now about 2 years, but she still is a very little one. I'm going to make a stream with her so you can see her. She's a dear. Now, speaking of cats, but what I saw that he was completely look. When you go to a party and you don't know anyone in the party, okay, and you are just trying to see who am I going to talk with, am I going to get a drink, I don't know, am I going to sit somewhere and do whatever or get a pretzel or whatever? You understand? This is exactly how Trump looked. And all over the news, people were constantly reinforcing this idea. A tired person, tired man. Look, no one wasn't impolite with him. Okay, you have to understand that. Uh, Look, we get mad, we say words, we insult people. I do it too. Okay, everyone does it. We mock people. But the truth is, it was very sad. Sad is the word that I would use to characterize the summit. Because all other countries, look, they were working. They were doing what they are supposed to do. And if you don't know what goes on in those types of meetings, I know I sometimes also am a bit oblivious with, but it's essentially governments talking directly with each other. Okay, people in places of power talking with other people in places of power. So the Macron was talking with other leaders, with the EU president, okay, the president of the Commission, everyone, with the German chancellor, the Japanese PM, okay, everyone was talking, okay. Mark Carney, that was hosting it, a damn good host too. He was one of the other persons in that summit that was doing a very proactive show, okay, and it notices because if you don't know this, all the investment France and Germany had in the US is now being moved to Canada. Auto parts, energy, even food. Instead of going to the US, Instead of, for example, opening up another manufacturer in the US, they are opening them in Canada and in Mexico. Okay, and let me tell you this: this will not change, and I think that is one of the reasons why Trump didn't do nothing in that summit. Okay, he was basically there to say, "I am here," and to talk a bit about Iran. Maybe I believe more in what he told Macron than what he's saying. Okay, because Macron may have a lot of defects. Sometimes he's a bit rash. Sometimes he can come across as arrogant, but I don't have him for a liar because he always speaks the truth. Okay, even when it does not benefit him, even when he has issues with it, even when he has backlash on something he says the man never denies I said it. Okay, so I'm going for by experience, and it is better to have a politician that sometimes fails but tries to be a better person than to have a politician that lies and tells a lie upon a lie, trying to cover his ass. Okay, it's much better to have that type of person. And so, what I saw was basically this. And this entire situation with Iran, it's a symptom of US weakness. And again, China knows this, Russia knows this. They know the US is unable to control Israel, that Israel will do all that it wants. During the Biden era, this was already happening. Biden did not know how to deal with the invasion of Gaza. But I am sure that if anyone else than Trump was in power right now, Israel would not have attacked Iran. I am absolutely certain of it. Okay, it wouldn't be Biden; it would be Kamala or any other decent Democrat candidate. Okay, I am certain that the U.S. would continue with this support to Israel, even with all the shit they are doing in Gaza. But I don't believe they would allow or sanction an attack of Israel over Iran. Okay, because Netanyahu, that Benjamin, the guy is mad. Okay, he's completely out of his marbles. If you think he's better than Trump, my friend, no, he's not. The only difference between him and Trump is that Benjamin Netanyahu, he knows what he is doing. Okay, he's not completely oblivious. He's doing things with intention. He's doing things with plan, and he is not senile. Okay, but he's a madman, like Trump, like Putin. Okay, and something that is very worrying for me is that once again, for whatever reasons, and remember, I'm not implying anything, even though I have implied it, but in this moment, I'm not implying anything, but Mr. Trump continues to repeat Russian propaganda and narratives. Just like Hexet, just like them all, okay? Just like Rubio, that uh, adds a bit of a let's call it a religious flair to it, which is something I find absolutely disgusting. I think he's a Catholic. I think he's Cuban. And Cruz also, in my opinion, same shit. Okay, and they are trying. This was something that was only this. But let me just explain this. This part of the religious part. This was something that was just a characteristic of non-Catholic Christians in the U.S. Okay, the Southern Baptists all of those more extreme religious forms. Okay, the Catholics pretty much kept themselves away from that shit because Mexico is Catholic. Okay, so there are bound to be a lot of Mexican Catholics, a lot of so-called Latinos. I don't understand why they would call them Latinos, but that is their shit, their idea. Latinos are the ones that live in Italy, okay? Has nothing to do with this, but that's their shit, their ideas, their dumb ideas. But the Catholics kept themselves a bit apart from all of that rhetoric. But right now, and this is something that is deeply odd, disturbing to me, I am seeing certain sections of the Catholic population leaning in the same rhetoric that Trump and his sycophants are spewing out. I don't know if they are doing this to protect themselves. I don't know if they are doing this to integrate this movement. But whatever it is, I don't like it. And Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, they are doing that. They are definitely doing that. They are the more visible faces of this movement. And I think this is something we are going to have to deal with in the future because it might transform into something else. Okay, remember Germany. Okay, remember Germany. And I know this because some of my family, they were Prussians, East Prussians, Catholic, very devout, and they also were dragged into this entire nationalist rhetoric. The only difference is that, to my knowledge, and I'm being brutally honest, to my knowledge, I did not have any family members, let's call it like this, because it's the family of my grandfather, not directly my family, but my family members. None of them were in death camps. Okay, some were in the Panzer divisions, and I know of one that was a special sharpshooter sniper that was captured in the east, spent some time in the Gulag, and then returned home, and the family then settled in Bavaria, I think, in South Germany, near Munich, I think, in that area. But I haven't had any direct contact with most of them for a long time. But these people, the Prussians, they were used just like the AfD is using them now, because this would correspond more or less to the area of East Germany. They use this sense that they used to have, and that people in Germany tell me they don't have anymore, but they still believe they have it, of the correctness. Meaning, when the Führer, when the commander told you, kill, they would kill. And they would feel absolutely no remorse of it. And I have to be honest and say that I sometimes also have this. Okay, I'm certain that if I was in a similar situation, I would probably do the same. I don't know why. Maybe it's a cultural thing. Maybe it's a coping mechanism. But if I was in a situation where I was ordered to kill, I think I would. I don't know how I would react. I don't know what I would do. But you have to be honest with yourself, okay? And you have to say these things, and you must not be ashamed of it. You must know your limitations as a person, and you must learn how to deal with it, okay? This is why I try my best to be morally and ethically correct, so that I don't fall into rabbit holes like a lot of people, even here right now here in Portugal, are falling. And let me tell you, if you think this infection is only in the US, you are sadly mistaken. This infection is everywhere. It's in Portugal, it's in Spain, it's in France, it's in Germany, it's in the UK. The UK is the worst case scenario right now, and it's in Germany. Okay, in Russia, it's also there. Okay, in Russia is playing with this shit to try. They are doing a lot of shit. I know that Russia, for example, right now, trying to threaten the West because they know Macron and other politicians want to put boots in the ground. They are amassing troops near the border of Finland. and of the Baltic states. And this is causing NATO to have to divert resources to that area. Any new Americans, if you think NATO right now has anything to do with the US except the nuclear deterrent, I think you are living in a dream world. Okay, because it's Trump, this Trump thing. Okay, it will pass. Hello, Vinod Rana. What about India, Canada, and US relations? Well, India will have an important role to play in world economics in the future. Right now, not so. Why? Too unstable. But this is my opinion. But if you tell me, will these relations uh, matter? Are they important? Yes, they are extremely important. This is why the EU has sought to find agreements with India, and this is why it's important for India to develop itself. Even if India might serve as a buffer zone against Chinese influence in the area of the Indo-Pacific. So if you are asking if this question is about how what I was just talking about if you don't know from the beginning of the stream, I was talking about the impact and how Europe saw the G7 relationships. Okay, so but you ask me about India, I have no problem in talking about it and telling you. India will be very important, but the level of development, human development, and political development, you know, you have problems with your prime minister. You know that. No, I don't need to tell you this. You know the issues that are inside of your country. Okay, you know issues with corruption, other things at a human development level. But you also know that production and manufacture is reaching excellent, really excellent levels. Okay, you also know that in terms of computers, of software production, of all of that, India is also a champion. Okay, India supplies a lot of tech people to Europe, to Canada, to the US. You know all of that. Okay, but allow me now to just return to my train of thought. Okay, thank you. Now, as I was saying, this G7 meeting, summit, sorry, in my view, it proved two things. Number one, it proved that Trump is weak in the sense of the soft power. Look, when you say weak, you cannot deny the fact that the U.S. has the largest army, has the best army in terms of quality of troops, and don't confuse that little parade they did, okay, because that was bullshit. Okay, it's not the U.S. is not a marching army; it's an operations army, and the U.S. also has some leverage in things like arms sales and all that. But Trump hit. But let me just. And the second point is that also the relationship between Trump and the other G7 members, it's clearly damaged, and it's clearly extremely weakened. Okay, but Trump in this G7 that they were talking about in the news here, he got the same answer about the weapon procurement in Europe that he got before. No, if you don't know this, Europe is rearming at an accelerated rate. Okay, the countries that have been quicker in doing it are, for example, Finland, Germany, Poland, that already has a large army, and all the rest of Europe, in France, of course, all the rest of Europe is doing it. And the only mild concession that the EU did was to allow some UK companies to provide parts and other stuff that European arm manufacturers might not have. Okay, Israel was also banned. If you don't know, I did a video about this, but in the weapons, let's call it expo in France, Israel had been permitted by the French government to sell and present their defensive weapons. And they were trying to sell their offensive weapons. And they got kicked out. And they were mad. But Trump wanted these key aspects. Okay, he wants rare earths from Ukraine. He wants to sell weapons to Europe, hmm, and he wants the European manufacturers to install themselves in the US, expand their operations because they're already there. They have been for decades. And instead, he got what you can see. For example, if you want to see someone that is talking about it, Reuters in America is talking about this. What the Europeans did is instead of investing in the US, like Mr. Trump was trying to do with this tariff madness, they picked up all of that investment and they sent it to Canada. And now, Vinette, you are talking also about the relationships between Canada. They are excellent, okay? Because these connections of in the areas of energy, in the areas of weapon production, of auto production, even of food production, okay? All of these relationships are creating a lot of jobs in Canada, a lot of jobs in Europe, a lot of taxes in Canada, a lot of taxes in Europe, taxes that were being produced inside of the US. Okay, you have to understand this because when we look at the car manufacturer in the US, they are relying in parts that come from Canada, from Mexico, from Europe, from India. Even India is contributing to the to the markets in the US. Okay, in the production of medicine, for example. And now, what is Europe doing? Cutting their losses. Okay, instead of investing in the US, they're sending it to Canada. And slowly, if this situation continues, slowly what will happen? They will remove their manufacturers from there because it will not be profitable. Okay, and what do we expect of Trump to do in this situation? He can't do nothing. Okay, he cannot do nothing because he's not offering nothing. He's offering tariffs, he's offering confusion, he's often offering hostility. He's for God's sakes, he was talking about bringing back Russia into the G7 after what Russia is doing in Ukraine. Because Mr. Trump might not know this, okay? But we have a lot here in Portugal. I'm talking about Portugal. We have a lot of Ukrainian people living here. Some of them are completely integrated into society. They have a Portuguese passport, Portuguese nationality. They are married with a lot of them are married with Portuguese people. Okay, the best friend of my nephew. Okay, his mother is Ukrainian. Okay, and I personally heard the stories of what happened in Ukraine, and these were people that had absolutely no reason to lie, no reason to be offensive. And Mr. Trump says this, oh, you have to get Russia again. Okay. Then tell this to the little girl that was very happy to go to the supermarket with her mom, and that then she was telling something to her mom. And I have had talked with them before. I was with friends, and I asked her, "What is the girl? What is the little girl?" I'm not going to say the name of the people, of course. What is the little girl saying about? And the little girl was telling her mom, this Ukrainian little girl, about 7 years old, 6, 7 years old, she was telling her mom how happy she was to be able to go into the supermarket to buy her. It was some kind of a sweet that she really liked. She was so happy to go into the supermarket without the bad man firing at her. You know why? Because where she was, in Russian occupied lands, before they were able to escape and run to the east, to the west, Russian soldiers, just to amuse themselves, they would shoot at civilians in places where they knew the civilians had to go: supermarkets, pharmacies, gas stations, just because they could. And this is why, and for personal reasons also, why I cannot, I can not ever, ever, really ever support that 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 bunch of robbers, rapers, and murderers. Okay, and don't tell me, oh, they are there because Putin is forcing them to, and blah blah blah. No, a lot of them are there because they like it. Because you do not have these type of attitudes of pure evil against people because you're just, oh, I'm forced to go there. No, but continue. And this is what we saw. What did I see in Portuguese news, in Spanish news, in French news, in German news? I saw the same. A tired old man with no power, weak, confused, and that achieved nothing. In fact, after he left the G7, more was achieved. He was just there to say hello. And basically, what the other countries told them was solve this Iran Israel shit. And we are not going to be dragged into your little war. At least the EU. The EU is not going. I I really doubt the EU will enter into this power cake. And Israel knows this too. And now Israel is getting bombed. I think I think just today their today or yesterday their stock exchange was hit by a missile. So they have to stop this shit. But you know what Mr. Trump did? He moved in the bombers with the deep charges. You know those bombers that have those bombs to break bunkers. You know, he moved them to those are already, I think, in the Isle of Crete. So I don't know what will happen, but I hope, I really hope, okay, I really hope that the that the Americans stop this shit, tell Israel to stop this shit, make some kind of deal, stop this ceasefire first, and they will have to stop in Gaza. But my opinion is that Gaza is lost. They won't stop. I don't think they will stop. Yes, exactly, Ginny Butler. Really, this really sums up what I was saying. Trump wants to be the center of attention. He is not. He sucks up. Yes, we can see that. Did you see his reaction in Truth Social, talking about Macron? That Macron was wrong. Was wrong. Why? Because Macron is younger, more competent, and more beloved by the other leaders than he was. He was not the center at all. But he was not the center because he does not want to be the center. Because he's a narcissistic person that is only doing things out of, he is not following the law. He is not following what the Americans were doing. He utterly destroyed 60 years of American soft power. Completely destroyed. utterly destroyed. And if you ask someone in America that says, "Oh, we are going to get rid of Trump, we are going to put someone else there, and it's all going to be the same as it was before," was it the same after Iraq, after Afghanistan? Maybe in the US, maybe in the UK, but in Europe, governments governments fell all over Europe because of the non-existent weapons in Iraq. Do you think those parties want to risk supporting Mr. Trump and American wars again and lose power back home? There are parties that disappeared. Look, disappeared. If you don't believe me, please fact check me, go watch it, go see it, go do whatever you know. But even in the UK, what happened to the politicians that were supporting Trump? Sorry, the USA. In this case, George Bush Jr., father and Jr. Look, and what am I worried about? What I'm worried about is that terrorist groups supporting Iran will start to operate. I have no doubts about it. I have no doubts they are going to be targeting Israelis, Iranians, and Westerners. And I am sure they won't care if they blow themselves up in a hotel full of yes, a couple of American tourists and a couple of European tourists. They don't care. Okay, they are just like the Israelis that say that all those that are, no, are non-Jewish, we are not even people. I don't know if you know this, but I saw it in the Israeli media. Okay, the Christians, the Muslims, we are all the same. We are not people. They are the people. And remember this: I am not talking. I am not talking about the religion and the decent people that I know exist all over Europe. I have seen Jewish people in Europe criticizing this, telling them to please stop, that this is not helping anything. I'm talking about, and I'm going to say it, the Jewish Nazis. It's what they are. I'm not monetized. This is not monetized. I am speaking my personal opinions, and if they act like it, it's what they are. When they go on cruises near Gaza to see the destruction by the moonlight, when a woman is approached in the street of Tel Aviv and is asked directly if she cares about the Palestinians children that are being killed, and she says they are all the same. Look, I don't like Muslims zealots much too. I don't. I think the religion is too zealot. It's even worse than Christianity, much worse. But does that give me the right to say that a child can die because that child is a Muslim? No, it's a child. It's a woman. It's a man. They deserve to have their peace, to have work, to have food, to live. And this is a person raised Catholic telling you this, okay? I respect human life. They don't. Not for what, oh, because, and then they try to tell us, oh, they are lying, it's AI, it's this, and look, I saw this type of news. I saw them in Reddit. I saw it in TikTok. I don't have it, but I saw in someone else's TikTok. I saw it in all kind of media. I saw it in Portuguese news agencies. I saw it in Spanish news agencies. I saw it in French news agencies. I saw it in German news agencies. I saw it in American news agencies, in British news agencies, in Turkish news agencies, all over the world. Okay, this is not one country saying this. This is not one source. I seldom let myself fall into the trap of having a sole source of influence of information. All of this that I have been talking about with you about Trump, I saw it in. I'm going to tell you the main news. American news. I went everywhere. Reuters, CNN, NBC, Fox. No, it's a waste of time. And I saw it in Portuguese channels, in Spanish channels, in French channels, and I took a look at Gemini. The UK, I'm sorry, but I don't trust their news. None of them. They are spewing propaganda and lobbyists. Well, Genie Bottle, I won't say that. Maybe because I'm part German and my morals won't allow me to say it. But I will not disagree with you. I will not disagree with you. Okay? But no. Uh, just to conclude, I think this G7 meeting will be seen in the future as the moment when the USA forfeited its so-called leadership of the Western world. And paraphrasing a Danish diplomat, I would say that the transatlantic relationships, as they were, they are dead, and no one benefits from it. The USA does not benefit from it. Europe does not benefit from it. Like my friend here, Vinat, was talking about, India doesn't benefit from it. India, with their relationship with Pakistani, yes, Pakistan's army general visit to the US, not good. And you have to understand this. Sorry, I don't know if you are still in the chat, but I will talk with you, Vinat. You have to understand this. Trump will sell weapons to the Pakistanis, and Trump will sell weapons to India. He doesn't care. He has no morals. He wants money, and he's losing a lot of weapon procurement in Europe, and he knows it. He lost $6 billion just with Portugal, the F-36 jets. Okay, now, uh, Joshua, Ginny Bottle, thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate that you take your time to come here and to listen to me ramble. I thank you for your input. It really helps me sometimes. And anyone that watched me or that is watching this after, thank you very much for listening to me. And I will ask you this: please fact check all the things that I say. Fact check them. Don't don't take my word for it. Okay, investigate. If you are in the US and you want to fact check some things in European news, I would advise you there are two channels that you can go. If you only speak English, okay? Because if you speak more than one language, if you speak at least French, you can see a lot of channels, okay? But if you can't, look, I know how things are in the US. Around here, we usually speak two more languages or one more language than our own. But if you want to fact check Euronews, check the European Parliament channel. They are all in YouTube, all free. Okay, and check all. You can also check France 24. That's a good channel to take a look at the thing. Sky in the UK, it's a bit. You have also Byline TV in the UK. Byline, sorry, Byline. I don't know, but Euronews, France 24, good channels, and usually right. Bye. Have yourselves a nice day. See ya.